Anti-racism is very much an act of solidarity to try and address the inequalities that we've had for many years across our curriculum and the kind of lack of representation, and also addressing stereotypes and tackling any bias, and that of course starts within us as educators first.
It's how we build an anti-racist society. I think it's about making sure pupils and teachers and all staff are confident in celebrating diversity, at challenging any false narratives, and also making sure that we have an understanding of our own history and the links between colonialism and racism, and being able to address that. It's something that should be the top of our agenda.
For me, anti-racist education is about maximising on the opportunities that we have in the school where there's diversity, and celebrating the diversity that's there in the school, and also ensuring that it's a safe environment for all the children, you know, whether they're from BME backgrounds or they're white children. When I first walked into the school, you know, seeing that display made me at ease and showed me that, you know, you are welcome here and we'll support you. And it's not just for, you know, learners, but also staff that are from a BME background.
I think that the current workforce has 1.8% of minority ethnic background, which is nowhere near what the society represents. So I think it really is everybody's responsibility to make sure that we are challenging that we're looking into why that's the case. And although it is increasing, I think the underrepresentation takes place at all levels. It's people going into to study teaching, it's those who are able to get a full-time job after probation, and through management positions as well.
I've been teaching for 4 years now, and I feel I've never seen, you know, a teacher that looked like me. I don't really have like that role model to see like there's another teacher that looked like me that I could get help from. But I have been supported by my work colleagues and allies, and that's been a good thing. But then I feel like, you know, more could be done, you know, by the government to ensure that number increases, and that it's like a targeted support to ensure that, you know, a representation is seen throughout Scotland.
So we really need to try and understand the challenges and the barriers that minority ethnic teachers face. Now, part of that again is that aspect of building racial literacy amongst our colleagues to understand the prejudice and the racism often experienced by our minority ethnic teachers, and the lack of support they feel they therefore have because there aren't other people with the same lived experience that they can share their concerns with. And as a result of that, we are losing teachers throughout different stages of their career. And that's not going to help us then to build that representation or that anti-racist whole school approach that we're looking for.
And then for me, it's been a victory to hear my pupils say that they want to be like me when they grow up. It also shows that people of color can be in different professions. And then obviously teaching is one that's really heavily underrepresented. The fact that, you know, you can see one or two here and there, you know, it's nice for them to see actually we can have a role model that's from a different race.
It's been recognised that the lack of a diverse workforce is a challenge for the existing staff members, the recruitment of new diverse students that we want to come into teaching, but also to support our diverse communities. So the EIS has been an instrumental partner in the Race Equality Programme on behalf of Scottish Government as well, leading a lot of the conversations. As part of that work, EIS have conducted research around the approaches that local authorities are taking with regards to recruiting a more diverse workforce, and that's work that is continuing at the moment.
So when I started at this school, I saw the diversity and identified as something that could be celebrated. So what we did, we sent a Microsoft form to all the parents to tell us about their languages and about their background. So we were able to create a wall, like a wall map. As you came in, you would have seen it there. So where all the nationalities and all the languages that are spoken in the school are celebrated just at the entrance. And all the kids, all the children, when they come in, they see that and they feel valued. When I went to school, people of color were always represented, you know, it was always related to the slave trade. And as I grew up, you know, I was doing my own research and I found out about people of color that have created so many things that we still use today. And that gave me that inspiration, that showed me that there are significant individuals that are people of color, and it's not always, you know, white people that did the good things.
North Lanarkshire councillors passed a motion to look into how they could decolonise the curriculum and promote an anti-racist agenda. So education was a big part of that as well, and that kind of gave us the platform to look into how we could further that, and I've been able to use the resources and the professional learning offered by the EIS to try and implement that in the local authority.
It's been really good to have open discussions about the ways that we've always done things and the traditional topics that we've always taught. It's allowed staff to really think, well, actually I could have gone back and included that example, or I should now look at buying these resources. I'm in a very fortunate situation where my head teacher has been very supportive and very encouraging of us trying out new things and thinking outside the box and dedicating funding to build better resources that are more representative of our pupils. So that's really vital, I think, to really build a team that is behind this ethos. I think the encouragement to think critically and think outside the box a little bit is really useful for staff as we start to think a bit more closely about the specific identity of each child and how each child brings something new. And even if it's different, it's an asset to the classroom, and we're trying to build that into our teaching and learning. So across our school, you'll see examples of topics around different cultures and not just the traditional approach of what we do normally.
It's not enough to just be non-racist, you have to be anti-racist, and making sure that we're all playing a part, we're all working together to ensure that it's a better society for everybody, where we are all seen and we're all valued. I created my own anti-racist plan, which I'm implementing slowly. I can see that the support is there. The EIS, there are people that are always there to support me, and I know there's always someone that I can talk to if there's a need there. Sometimes there can be concerns, how would I be perceived if there's not a lot of people that look like me, then maybe there's that little bit of fear of professional isolation and feeling like you're seen but you're not heard, really.
I think schools and society is becoming more diverse, so we need to make sure that's reflected in the education system. I think we need to be comfortable reflecting on our own white fragility and make sure we know that it's the responsibility of us all to challenge this. It shouldn't be left up to a minority of people to fight this on their own, and I think that's how the union can play a really important part there. It's been really useful to meet with colleagues through trade union organised events and share best practice. It's also encouraged us to reflect on what we teach in the curriculum and how we can diversify that. For example, in Refugee Week, we were able to distribute and share resources for all different subject areas and provide assistance where people felt less confident in that, and that was really well received from staff and pupils. I think that racism is a trade union issue, it always has been, and they're best placed to kind of build and organise around that issue and challenge it. I've been able to take part in training at a national level and then roll that out more locally so that more and more people can benefit from it.
Recently now, in the last few years, we have set up the national BAME network, which offers support and guidance and helps to build knowledge for ethnic minority educators as well as the wider workforce. Glasgow specifically has a BAME network which hold regular network meetings. So these act as a safe space for members to come together, for colleagues to come together, discuss concerns with others that possibly have that kind of lived experience. But on a wider level, it's really helped to raise the profile of ethnic minority teachers within our country and the challenges that we face, and also to provide solutions to the way forward and how we can reduce those challenges and learn from the good practice and emerging practice across different local authorities to address the issue.
These are platforms, that allows, BAME teachers, to be able to have that safe environment where they can talk about the support that they require, or have suggestions and recommendations to improve. So these are things that are all there, that empowers the educators to know that actually we're not alone. There's a cavalry there that can come together and be a strength, for all the educators in Scotland.